There is a new asset in the website. It's this indicator bar you see on the screen. In this video, I'm going to show you how it works, the parameters that can be configured in the inspector, and how to write a script that uses this indicator bar to show a health or armor value, for example. Here in the corner, you have a link to my website where you can download this Unity package, and there is also an example of how to use it. These are the files that come inside the package. We have two scripts, a prefab, and also this scene. If you go to the play mode and press the keys, the indicators change the value. This prefab must be assigned as a child of a canvas, because otherwise it doesn't render. Let's begin by looking how this prefab is composed. In the first place, we have this game object, the father, that has the script assigned. It works as a background too, this black frame that we see here. If you want, you can remove it, making it completely transparent, or you can change the color. If you want to change the size of the indicator, you only need to modify these width and height values. That's enough. For example, if you wanted to fit this whole part of the screen, give it about 1800 for the width and about 25 for the height, and it will look like that. Notice that it still works exactly as before, just change the size. Then as a child we have this object, non-filled area, that is this white area that we see here. You can change the color if you want, and also change the margin. For example, if you want the black frame to be thinner, here you can give it less pixels. And finally we have this game object, value indicator, the green bar. Here it's not necessary to touch anything. The script will automatically scale this object so that it fills a certain percentage of the bar, and the color is not necessary to modify it either because it can be controlled through a script. Let's go to the father game object. Here in the inspector we have this first parameter, orientation. It allows us to change the orientation in which the bar is filled, horizontally or vertically. This reverse variable allows us to change the direction of the filling. For example, we can fill it from left to right or from right to left. This fill color is the main color that the indicator bar will have. I'm gonna stop the simulation, change the color, enter the play mode again, and here as we see, the color was changed. Then you have this variable, use two colors. When it's true, this empty color will be shown when the bar is empty, and the fill color will be shown when the bar is completely full. And the color is going to be interpolated for all the values in between. Notice that here is modified gradually until passing from one color to another. This minimum and maximum value are used to define the range that the indicator bar is going to display. For example, if you have a character that has a health of 500 points, the minimum value should be 0 and the maximum value should be 500. That way, when we pass the current health value, the bar is going to show a percentage of the total health. This last field is simply the reference of the field. It's not necessary to modify it. Now we're going to see an example script to use this indicator bar to show whatever you want to show. Here, as you can see, there are several references, also several instructions that are very similar, but this is because we have 6 indicator bars, so we're going to take into account only the first instruction of each. The rest is the same, but for the other bars. This script is assigned to this game object in my case. Notice that here appears the first reference, this that we define here. As it is public, appears in the inspector. Now we can drag the indicator bar, manually take the bar, and place it in that field. With this, we are saying that the reference of this component, this script, we have it stored in this field here, and we can modify it through code. Then all these other references are exactly the same, only for the other bars. In the inspector, we also have a minimum and maximum values we can write here and then will be sent to the indicator bar through code. This would be the starting value. Note that here in the script are these references defined, but this is just an example of how to use it. The first thing I'm going to do in start is to set up the bar indicator through code. Using this function, setup indicator, I'm passing the minimum and maximum values. Here as an extra, there are 2 commented instructions to change the orientation using code and also to change this option. That can be done with these instructions, but also it can be done in the inspector, so whatever you prefer. Then on the line 30, I pass the current value, which is the one written in the inspector, 50 in this case, so when you start the game the bar will be showing the value 50. You could set it to 100% or you could load a saved value. Imagine that we are indicating the health of the player and it's a loaded game. So you have to show the values as they were when the player saved the game. Well, in that case, you would have to load the health value that was stored and set it here in the start method. And finally, in the update method, we write the indicator bar. Here what we do is read the A and D keys, modify this current value variable, and then send that value to the indicator bar. But this is only an example. Suppose you are indicating the player's health, for example. When the player takes damage, you would have to calculate how much damage he took, modify the health variable, and then execute this function sending that value as parameter. The same if the health is regenerated. So that would be the way to use this solution. Define a public reference for this object, in this case it's called linear indicator, initialize it, that is to configure the minimum and maximum values, and then when you need to display a value, use this instruction, linear indicator dot set value, and send the value in between parentheses. That's all I wanted to show you. Hope you find it useful, and see you next time.